Portugal. The story from the BMW M5 is really a fascinating and iconic tale. It was born 26 years ago. If your fabulous M88 3.5-liter straight-six from your mid-engine M1 supercar was dropped into your shark-nosed, razor-sharp E28 5 Series, its replacement, the E34, stayed true to the very first car's formula, with additional power plus a chassis honed with a deliciously sharp edge. Significant changes were used on the third M5, the E39, specifically adding a 5.0-liter V8. At first, the purists cried. Then they drove it and people tears of sadness taken on sobs of joy. For the next generation, BMW unleashed the wildest M5 for all time, the E60, which consists of howling 5.0-liter V10 that revved to your heavenly 8,250 revolutions per minute. It had its flaws, but damn, it had been special. It seemed the M crew from Munich could do no wrong in what had become BMW's definitive super sedan. But which was then? The car we've arrived at Portugal to push on the face of computer has abandoned every principle where the M5 legend was founded. The all-new F90 Series 2018 BMW M5 includes a twin-turbocharged engine. It is fitted having a fully automatic gearbox. And the horror, it's now all-wheel drive. The missing link in this particular story, the outgoing F10 M5, was heavy, slightly ponderous, simply really came alive at unspeakable speeds. The F10 ushered in BMW's 4.4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 plus a greater target luxury. It simply didn't feel special enough to get an M5. Fantastically capable, yes, but cold. How to superheat the M5 formula just as before? I can imagine a million ways. However, the adoption of all-wheel drive, switching coming from a dual-clutch transmission to your ZF8 speed automatic, and focusing more on luxury for $103,595 large doesn't make list. In fact, it shows that BMW either doesn't discover how to recapture the previous M5 magic or simply just doesn't desire to do so. At least that's the narrative I was hoping to report. However, it pays to get open-minded, because of this M5 has rediscovered the wonder. It's more aggressive, the ride is busy and uncompromising, it offers simply sensational performance, along with the all-wheel drive technique is wonderfully fluid and playful. And if you actually must exit every corner that has a full turn of opposite lock, just place it in rear-wheel drive mode and relish the sort of over-the-limit balance which includes always been an M5 hallmark. Before we explore the auto further, let's get back to the makeup in this mighty machine. It includes a revised version on the 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 that now produces 600 horsepower and 553 lb-ft of torque, which can be mated towards the aforementioned 8-speed automatic gearbox. Thanks in part on the new MX Drive all-wheel drive system, it reaches 60 miles per hour in 3.2 seconds, can run from 0-1 to 4 miles per hour in 11.1 seconds. With the optional M driver's package, it's also competent at a top speed of 189 miles per hour. MX Drive essentially allows the M5 to push the rear wheels just for much from the time, the central clutch pack only sending power forward if your rear begins to lose grip or under sudden acceleration, when extra stability is necessary. The rear axle also features the familiar M differential. However, the four-wheel steering system seen for the M550iX Drive was omitted from your M5 to save lots of weight. That seems a bizarre decision, mainly because it works so well on everything coming from a Porsche 911 GT3 in an M760 and would surely give the M5 even bigger agility. Of course, The M5 gives a wide range of adjustment for nearly every aspect of its dynamic personality. There are comfort, sport, and sport plus settings to the dampers, steering and throttle mapping, plus 3 modes with the gearbox, and you'll run with full DSC from the more relaxed MDM mode or with stability control dialed out completely. On top of that, the MX Drive has 3 modes, 4WD, 4WD Sport, or RWD. You can only find the latter 2 modes whenever you disengage DSC, but confusingly, 4WD Sport defaults to MDM mode to the stability control, whereas selecting RWD makes you run completely without electronic intervention. You have been warned. If all of this sounds horribly complex, well, it truly is. But helpfully the M5 has 2 preset buttons about the steering wheel labeled M1 and M2. The idea would be to let you experiment with the automobile's various modes and settings until you're very happy to commit to 2 pre-programmed and intensely personal setups. For the launch event held near Lisbon, M1 kept the vehicle in standard 4WD with steering, engine mapping, and dampers and comfort, along with the gearbox in their most serene mode. M2 ranked things as much as 4WD Sport with MDM mode with the stability systems, Sport for steering and dampers, Sport Plus for engine mapping, and tickled the gearbox tickled around level a couple of 3. The first surprise? Even in docile M1, the M5 feels eager, aggressive, even. The engine doesn't possess the pumpied-up theater with the E63s, nonetheless it matches it for response and revs, with much more energy at the pinnacle end. The ride is taut and controlled, too. Over short, sharp bumps the M5 fidgets and thumps. Up the speed and things a race, but only slightly. On Portugal's pretty decent highway system the M5 feels never lower than firm. Turn on to smaller, more interesting roads and also the uncompromising feel with the chassis can mean real agility, excellent body control, plus a feeling that all-wheel drive system favors the back wheels all the time. I haven't mentioned the gearbox yet since it took quite some time for me to remember it wasn't a dual-clutch unit. Yes, it's more mannered than that old MDCT box at low speeds, nevertheless it's also more decisive and punchier once you're exercising the twin-turbo mill. In M2 mode, the M5 hits hard and clean, and each and every shift is tight and synchronized perfectly with my requests within the steering wheel mounted paddles. It doesn't have that super clean and almost magical feeling with the best dual-clutch boxes, however it's pretty close and beats rivals such as AMG or even the Cadillac CT-SV clearly. I can't imagine an automatic that feels this responsive save the 10-speed unit within the Lexus LC500. So it requires just a number of miles to become deeply impressed with all the M5. In fact, impressed will be the wrong word. The old car was impressive. The new M5 is fun and exciting, and pretty uncompromising, too. In full luxury mode it appears like a proper sports sedan, dial everything approximately sport plus also it's almost rabid. On these narrow, craggy roads the M5 is proven to work best while using dampers and comfort, while Sport Plus is like a racetrack-only setting, that is handy as I'm following brown signs marked Autodromo. Estoril is awaiting our arrival. The old F1 circuit is delightfully shabby with huge, sun-bleached grandstands that reek of faded glory, but Estoril remains an important test for virtually any car. Not to mention a circa 4,250-pound monster such as the 2018 M5. The M division worked tough to keep weight down with goods like a carbon fiber roof and rapidly adoption of all-wheel drive. The F90 is really lighter than its predecessor. However, it never fulfills the existing cliché of shrinking around you for the road. It's a large car and yes, it feels the part. This much mass plus AWD should mean understeer and mini it about the track, right? Nope. The M5 really wants to turn, even though you have to get careful not to become too greedy on turnin'. Once the front tires bite and you're about the throttle, the large sedan errs towards oversteer as opposed to howling push. The 4WD Sport mode actually is effective, and although the M5 doesn't feel as deliberately rear-biased because E63's, its behavior might be more fluid and natural. On the limit you often find some understeer on turn-in, then a lovely four-wheel drifting phase mid-corner and also a little flourish of oversteer within the way out. MDM mode means that you can experience this practically, but let down all the steadiness systems and also the easygoing nature from the M5 even if the tires are slipping and sliding is addictive. The track also lets you enjoy the M5's engine at its full potential. With bigger turbochargers versus the previous M5, greater boost pressure 24.5 pounds per square inch versus 21.8, and also a higher pressure and much more precise fuel injection system, the 4.4-liter V8 simply chews up straights. The noise feels a bit artificial, which is clearly augmented with the speakers, and if you'd prefer the gargling with ball bearings and spewing V8 fire and brimstone associated with an AMG, the M5 sounds just a little tame, yet the job it does are not criticized. Its character comes not from your soundtrack but coming from a cocktail of precision and organ-crushing power. It's enough to try the optional carbon ceramic brakes towards the absolute limit around Estoril. The pedal goes for a while following a few laps, plus the M5 actually starts to shimmy and dance because braking performance is tested, but they're experiencing an extreme and unrealistic regimen, 5 fast laps using a half-hearted cool-off lap. Sit from the pits for 3 or 4 minutes soaking up all of the heat as drivers swap, then repeat before fuel tank is dry or tires are exhausted. On the road, there are no issues, but such would be the performance available here. Given the weight being hauled around, I suspect the carbon ceramics could be well worth the outlay. By the end in the day, the F90 M5 has confounded my expectations. Rather than moving away through the old M5 formula, they have used technology to return better it. This is really a super sedan which they can use every day yet always feels special and doesn't compromise outright performance for the veneer of luxury. It's also an M5 for the core. Breaking every one of the rules, I tried 1 lap in RWD mode. The tires needed changing from the time I returned to your pit lane. Welcome back. We've missed you. 2018 BMW M5 specifications. Price: $103,595 base. Engine: 4.4 liters twin-turbo 32-valve V8 600 HP at 5,706 revolutions per minute, 553 lb-ft at 1,805 revolutions per minute. Transmission: 8-speed automatic. Layout: 4-door, 5-passenger, front engine, AWD sedan. EPA mileage: 1,623 miles per gallon city hui. LXWXH: 195.5 by 74.9 by 58.0 inches, wheelbase. 117.4 inches, weight. 4,255 pounds, 060 miles per hour, 3.1 seconds, top speed. 155 miles per hour 189 miles per hour William driver's package.